Good morning, everybody, and happy Video Monday. This is Tisha Mahar here with you, and today I'm filming this week's video from my sister's place in the country. I'm just kind of hanging out here and drinking some tea and enjoying a bit of a city break. Anyways, I'm thinking about you guys, and I wanted to get this video out to you. So somebody in my group asked about belly bloat and what can be done about it. So we all have had this experience, right? Our stomach is bloated and we have no idea what caused it. So today I want to just throw out there, I just kind of saw this topic request and just sat down and with a piece of paper just kind of wrote out what would I say to a client, how would I help them get to the bottom or the root of this. So the first thing I look at when somebody says, you know, my stomach is so bloated, the first thing I do is not jump to, oh, you have an infection or a parasite or candida or anything like that. The first thing to ask yourself is, do you chew your food well? And do you eat slowly and mindfully? This is a huge problem, especially in today's society. We're eating our food while we're walking down the street. I've done it myself. We're eating the food while we're driving in the car. It's not good. The body digests best when our nervous system is in a parasympathetic state, which means a relaxed state. So don't eat when you're stressed. You won't die. Wait until you feel calm, until you feel relaxed. If you have to, do something to calm yourself down first, and then go into your meal. So the first thing to do is to make sure you're chewing your food well and eating slowly. Because if you're just gobbling your food and you're not properly chewing, you may not be breaking it down properly. So when we chew our food, there are specific enzymes that are broken down and released which help our body to properly digest. So you need to break the food into its small pieces. So there's a really great quote, and it's something like, drink your food, chew your juice. So think about this. Really chew well, eat slowly. Start with that. That in itself may really help if you're having like constant bloating. That might be what's up. The next thing to look at, maybe you do chew well and you're still having this problem. The next troubleshooting tip would be to look at your water intake. So are you drinking water before meals or after meals or with meals? Ideally, you want to stop drinking about 30 minutes before you eat and wait and then start drinking again 30 minutes after. So you don't want to be drinking tons of water with your food. This can cause bloating. So that's the next thing to look at. Another possibility is maybe you're dehydrated. When our body is dehydrated, our body holds onto water, and that could show up for you with the retention being in the stomach area. So you want to make sure that you're hydrating well. You want to make sure that you're getting lots of minerals. I find being somebody who eats a lot of fresh, raw foods, I don't need near as much water as other people. So if you're somebody who's eating a high protein diet, you're going to need more water. So you have to look at your individual diet in order to figure this out. I know for myself, because I get so much water in my food, if I start drinking like 4 liters of water on top of that a day, it doesn't work out for me. I actually flush minerals from my body and I don't feel good. It's like pressure on my kidneys. It's too much water. So you got to find the right amount. So look at what what type of food you're eating. If you eat a lot of cooked food, especially if you eat a lot of protein, you're going to need more. Otherwise, a good standard for most people who are eating lots of fresh food, I would say, is like 1.5 liters, 2 liters. That's usually enough. But make sure you're hydrated. Your urine, your pee should be fairly clear. If it's really, really yellow, you're dehydrated. If it's totally white all the time, you might need to back off on the water a little bit. So look at that. The next possibility for why you are bloated might be that you are constipated. So if there's a lot of stuff just sitting in there, obviously your stomach is going to be expanding. So you want to make sure that you're going to the bathroom regularly. There's a lot of reasons that constipation can be a thing. So I'm pretty sure I've done a video on that. You could, Google on YouTube, you could search in YouTube and watch my video on constipation. I'm pretty sure there's one there, and if not, let me know below and I'll do one, but I'm pretty sure there is, and troubleshoot your and make sure that that's not a thing. If you are constipated, that could be why you're bloated. So watch that video. Food sensitivity can cause bloating, so make sure that you're not allergic to anything. The big culprits are gluten and dairy. Make sure, eggs is becoming more and more common as well, so really check to see if there's anything that you might be sensitive to that could be causing this problem. Yeah, and then the other thing you want to look at, so food sensitivity, or the other possibility could be something like candida or SIBO. So these are overgrowth. This is in this situation, there's an overgrowth of bad bacteria in your system. In candida, it's throughout the body in the blood. With SIBO, which is like the new candida, it's becoming more and more common. It's happening in the lower bowel, so the small intestine, and that can absolutely cause bloating, and this is a really common thing. And if you have SIBO, people with SIBO usually don't tolerate FODMAPs well at all. FODMAP foods are things like beans, things like cruciferous vegetables. Now, in general, those foods are hard to break down, and let's mention that right here. So even if you don't have SIBO candida, if you eat a ton of beans and you eat a lot of broccoli, especially like raw, that could be the problem. So you might need to back off on how much of those foods you're eating. If you don't really eat those, or if you find that even when you eat a small amount, you get really bloated, you may have SIBO. So again, something to look into. All these things are fixed. This isn't a major problem. None of this stuff is major. Sugar alcohols, things like maltitol, sorbitol, that was something else that came to my mind that could be causing it. If you eat a lot of processed snacks, there's lots of snack bars, protein bars that contain these artificial sweeteners, and they can cause bloating for a lot of people. The size of your meals. Sometimes if people are eating really big meals, they get really bloated. Some people prefer to eat 2 large meals or 3 large meals a day. Other people feel much better doing the mini meal thing, so having like 4 small or 5 small meals throughout the day. So see if that could be affecting your bloating. If you're somebody who eats only twice a day and you eat large portions, that could be it. Maybe you want to try doing a different type of meal timing and see if that works better for you. Meal sizing, sorry. So recently, you may have seen in my other posts that I've been moving off coffee again, and this is something really interesting that I'm always so delighted to see happen. I think coffee causes bloating for me. I know a lot of people swear by coffee for it keeping them regular, but because coffee really affects my parasympathetic nervous system, because it makes me feel quite stressed, I think that causes bloating. I think that in my life, when I've struggled with bloating, it's been because of stress. So look at the stress in your life and possibly look at how much coffee you're drinking, because caffeine for some people seems to irritate the stomach lining more than it does perhaps for others, and that could be part of what's happening. So a lot of people find actually when they cut out coffee after a month or so, their stomach is a lot happier. I hate always saying that because I know how hard it is to let go of coffee, and I know how much you probably love it. So if coffee's working for you, great. If it's not, if you're bloated, if you're anxious, if you have a lot of things, it'll be worth it after 5 days or 6. Carbonated beverages, if you love those sparkly drinks like San Pellegrino or those stevia pops, all these new carbonated, bubbly, yummy beverages, those can contribute to bloating. So if you're somebody who's drinking a lot of those, that might be it. The last thing I want to mention in terms of possible things that could be causing your bloat is gum. I'm not going to mention her name. She is in this group, but she hasn't been following things that closely, I don't think. Anyway, one of my good friends is a constant gum chewer, and she always complains about bloating as well. And I don't want to be that person who's always lecturing everybody. I have to be careful not to be like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, because I always feel like I want to help people, but people need to really be ready anyways, she's always complaining that she's bloated, and I think it might be because of the gum. She's chewing gum all of the time. And when you're chewing gum, my dad told me this when I was a kid, when you chew gum, you swallow air, and it can cause gas, and it can cause bloating and that kind of thing. So all those things are mentioned are just things to look at. You know, do I chew a lot of gum? Do I drink tons of coffee? Could I be dehydrated? These might be the things that are causing your bloat problem. Once you've looked at all that, and I know it's a lot, but don't be overwhelmed. Again, this is simple stuff, and being bloated isn't such a big deal anyway. You can figure it out. Once you've looked into all of that and really taken the time to examine your diet, here are a few things that I have found that can be really helpful for bloating. My favorite remedies. So I love apple cider vinegar and water. Don't go crazy with it, but you know, a tablespoon in a big thing of water, drink it throughout the day. That can be really great. I love ginger and peppermint. You could do fresh ginger, fresh peppermint in teas, or you could take ginger, peppermint essential oils and add them to your water, to your food, anything like that. These herbs are carmitives, so they really calm the belly, the nervous system, the digestive system. Wonderful things for that. You can actually also, even in the health food stores now, buy peppermint capsules, and you can just swallow them, and that can be really helpful. Another thing that might be good is chia seeds. So for some people, they're getting a lot of one type of fiber in their diet, but not a lot of the other. And chia seeds are a very interesting type of fiber. They draw water into the colon, and a lot of people have dry colons. So chia seeds can be really helpful in terms of hydrating the colon and helping things move. So you can add, again, a tablespoon to a big thing of water, see if that helps, or you can add it to your salads. You can make chia seed puddings. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. But if you are somebody who struggles with digestive issues and you've never tried chia, you could try it. If you have SIBO, that thing I was talking about, an overgrowth of bad bacteria in the small bowel, chia seeds might make it worse. You'll find if you have SIBO that a lot of fiber of any kind makes your symptoms worse. So just be aware of that. But chia could be a solution for. I had one client come to me who was having chronic constipation for like 10 years, and I got him doing like a big glass of water with a tablespoon of chia every morning. No problem since. It was like the easiest fix, and he'd been suffering for so long. So sometimes it's easy, and that can be obviously a blessing. Sometimes it's not so easy. Yoga's awesome for bloat, especially back bends, stretching the abdomen, getting things moving, getting the chi, the energy, the blood flow, everything moving. Yoga is wonderful for bloating. Also, a lot of yoga postures specifically, they squeeze your internal organs, and this helps. They compress, the postures compress the internal organs, and then when the posture is released, there's again like an energy that is flowing through and flowing in and out. So yoga is wonderful for your digestive system. So many yoga poses work the digestive system, and I have a video on that as well. If you put yoga, I think yoga for constipation was the name of the video. I'll find it and link it below. Last two things I want to mention for things that also might help is probiotics. So taking probiotic will help to balance out the bad bacteria in your system. So at first, when people start taking probiotics, sometimes it makes things worse. And that's probably because you do have that imbalance. So if you stick with it, usually it will balance out. If it doesn't balance out, you might also need to take some antimicrobials for a while. These are specific herbs that kill the bad stuff, and then you repopulate with the good stuff. But I find a lot of the time, just adding the good and being consistent and just letting that bloat happen for a little bit, you'll work through it. So probiotics are so important. We have way more bad bugs in our system these days than good bugs, and we need more of the good bugs for bloat issues, for constipation, for any type of digestive ailment. So probiotics, hugely important. The other thing that can be helpful is enzymes. So if you are having trouble breaking down your food, you may need an enzyme to help your body do that. As we get older, we actually lose the enzymes in our system. So we're producing less enzymes, especially if we're eating a lot of cooked food, a lot of processed food. So taking an enzyme supplement like a capsule before you eat or with your food can really help with bloating. So if you've never tried that, that might be a great option. I also recommend for clients who have a lot of digestive issues that they always just keep some enzymes in their purse for those times when they're out for dinner or they're eating something that they know ahead of time is going to cause a problem in a social situation. At least you can always take the enzymes in those cases, especially if you suspect there might be something that you're allergic to, like gluten or dairy. The enzymes will really help you to avoid having any issues caused by the food. So digestive enzymes. Last thing, sometimes people are really low in something called hydrochloric acid. And you need a certain degree of hydrochloric acid in your gut in order to break down the food. And if you don't have enough hydrochloric acid, you can get bloated often from your food. So you may want to try also taking for a while, an HCl supplement, a hydrochloric acid supplement before your food, and see if that helps. If you don't want to take a supplement, apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon or half a tablespoon in water before you eat, just a little bit of water before you eat. This will help to create a more of an acidic state in your gut, and that will help in terms of your digestion and the bloating. So I know that was a lot. I hope you followed it all. And yeah, just go through those things, add in some things, and surely you'll get to the root of this. If you have any more questions, always post them below this video, or even better, I don't always have time to answer questions on all of the videos I've done, so even better, join my group. Because if you post a question there, I promise you it'll be answered within 48 hours at the most, probably 24 or probably an hour. I'm on there all the time. So just in Facebook, search TESHIA'S GROUP, join the group, and ask any questions that you have anytime about anything, about food, about nutrition, about supplements, about being vegan, about yoga, about body image, and learning to love yourself. These are all the topics that I'm passionate about helping people with, and I'd be happy to help you too. So join my group, send an invite today, and yeah, if you have any questions about digestion or anything else, you can post there. I hope you all have a great week. As always, it's wonderful to connect with you. I always imagine faces on the other side of these videos because sometimes it's weird just talking to a screen. I love doing my consults because I get to be face-to-face with somebody and know the impact that I'm having, or at least especially in the follow-ups, really hear, what's happened. But sometimes when I'm just talking at a screen, it's like, but I love your reflection, and I love hearing from you guys that this stuff has been helpful. So keep letting me know what you need. I love helping you. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.